Hey guys, what's up? Kevin from Lives, and today I'm going to be talking about the theories you guys sent me. First things first, I know the audio is crap. It's because I have to use the microphone and the camera. And that's because my blue snowball broke. And I know I only had it for a year, but this thing's busted. I tried reinstalling the drivers, I tried taking it apart and seeing what the problem was, but it's nothing I could do. So I ordered the Audio Technica ATR 2100. And reviews on this mic is really good. And I can't wait for it to get here. And if you guys are looking for a mic, I suggest that, and the link for it will be in the description below. With that being said, let's get to your guys' theories. Bradley Smith asks, you know your last theory? I believe that White Diamond is considered a god. That's why she's at the top and hasn't been seen yet. Then Yellow and Blue are the two leaders of Homeworld, while Pink Diamond would represent the common gems. That's why she's at the bottom, and that would explain why Rose is so small. Interesting theories, but my take on it is that she's not really a god, she's more of the top of the top, like the president. And Yellow and Blue Diamond, yeah, I say they're in the same ranking, but Blue Diamond's more of like a strategist since her commands with Sapphire, and Yellow Diamond's more of like a person who takes action. Then that leaves us with Pink Diamond, who I believe is just in charge of all the armies, because she leads all the courts. JK Gaming asks, do you think Rose is Pink Diamond? If the Diamond Mural has the white gem on top and White Diamond has the gem on her head, and Yellow and Blue have the middle of the mural with gems on their chest, if Pink Diamond has the bottom, the gem is probably in her stomach like Rose's. Good eye on those placements, but you're a little late, man. About a video or two videos ago, I released a video called Rose Was Pink Diamond, and I explained everything that you mentioned in the comment in there. So go check that out. That'll be where the Pearl and Steven is right here, if you want to go check out the video. And it explains my take on the whole subject. But thanks for commenting. Pedro Souza asks, theory. Pearl was from White Diamond. Yellow Diamond, her gem is in the same place as her pearl. Blue Diamond also has the same gem placement as her blue pearl. Those pearls match their owner's colors. Pearl's first outfit in the answer was plain white. What do you think? Alright, first things first. I'm pretty sure in the answer, her outfit wasn't white. I'm pretty sure it was blue until they remet it with Garnet, then it was a blue-pink. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was. Secondly, if you're asking about Pearl belonging to White Diamond, I'll get to that really soon because I have another fan who asks the same exact question. So stay tuned. Jay Chen asks, do you think Steven will have a much longer life than normal life? For example, 150 to 300 years. Or will his human body and genetics prevent that? And will he stop aging at a certain point, say 30? What I think is going to happen is that he's going to age to a certain point where he's best suitable for fighting. Like this Steven. What's that, like his mid-20s or mid-30s, and I feel like he's tall enough, strong enough, and at that time in his life he'll have the best knowledge for fighting and controlling his powers. But even if he ages past that, I feel like he'll age himself backwards, because we've seen he can do that. And I'm guessing at that point he'll be able to control it. So I'm guessing at that point he'll just morph himself back to that age so he can stay fighting with the gems. C.S. Franklin asks, theories. Rose wasn't the one who started the revolution. It was actually Pink Diamond, who was removed from Diamond Authority symbols during the revolution. Second theory. The polar ice caps melted. This was possibly indicated when the map was shown on the moon. I'm actually really fond of that first theory, that Pink Diamond was the one who started the revolution and Rose, being a quartz, was made for that particular reason. I know this goes against everything I said about Rose being Pink Diamond, but I have to face it, a lot of facts point that she just isn't her. And I actually like this new idea that Pink Diamond hated what they were doing, and she created Rose Quartz to help fight for the army. She knew how powerful Rose Quartz could be, and that's why she made her purposely that powerful. And she made her to help start the revolution, which caused the other diamonds to remove Pink Diamond from all the logos and everything. I'm guessing Pink Diamond died in combat, or got killed, or captured, or something. And for your idea on the polar ice caps melted, I don't believe that's the case, because a lot of the world would be flooded. And I know Russia, or wherever that is on the top, has ocean covering over most of the landmass. But I think that's just how their world is. Even on our world maps, the extended ones, we don't include Antarctica or any of that on it. Just for the reason being that nobody lives there. And that being said, I'm guessing the same reason goes for them. We don't show it on our maps, neither do they. Salty Official asks, can Steven fuse with more than one human? I think this would make an interesting theory for you to cover, because once I thought about it, I imagined tons of people fusing with Steven to save the Earth. It seems he might have no limit to the number of organic life he can fuse with. And another theory is, can the gems fuse with Stevonnie? And if so, does that mean the gems and all the people from Beach City can all fuse? What is your opinion on this? This would kind of be a touchy subject to talk about just because we haven't really seen anything like it. But my opinion is both of your theories would be correct. That since Steven can fuse with a human, he should be able to fuse with any human. And vice versa would be Steven could fuse with Connie to make Stevonnie. And Stevonnie's body is made out of light. So as long as it's made out of light, other gems could probably fuse with it as well. But that's just my idea of it. I had to cut this one down a little bit just because it was a little bit too long. Jose Diaz asks, if Peridot or Yellow Diamond made improvements to the device used on Garnet, would it fully work on Steven instead of just giving him a ticklish jolt? What if she made it to work on hybrids like Steven? What would happen? My two theories are Steven would be a regular human, lose his powers, and Rose would be back. Or two, Steven might disappear and only Rose would appear from the gem. What do you think of my theory? I feel for something like this to work, they would need someone like Steven or Steven himself to do tests on. But with that aside, I feel like if they actually got it done and hit him with it, he would probably get knocked out and the gem would retreat from his body, leaving Steven to be human and a mystery about the gem. Probably Rose Quartz being taken back out. But I doubt anything like that would happen in the show. But we'll see. Alan Hooper asks, theory. I know that gems don't really have genders, but have you noticed that all the gems that we've seen in this series appear female? Maybe all gems appear female, it kind of relates to the Asari in Mass Effect. They don't really have genders, but they all appear female. Anyways, just a little theory I thought about. Good comparison, but I'm pretty sure the Asari from Mass Effect labeled themselves monogendered. And I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that's how they were. They didn't like to be called male or female. They didn't feel a need for it. But the gems, however, their gender role is female. Because, okay, we need to get this all out of the way. Because a lot of people get confused by this and have arguments. This is how it is, guys. There's a difference between sex and gender. The sex is what you were born into, physically. But the gender is what you behave as, to put it in a short sense. The gems look, they talk, and they behave as females. So their gender role is females, but their sex is unknown. Well, not unknown, but they don't have a sex. That's just bottom line. Sky Stuff asks, Peridot doesn't have a weapon because when the failed gem fusions were attacking Peridot and Steven, he made a bubble and Peridot even tried to attack them. Plus, her limb enhancers aren't her weapons. Okay, first, yes, her limb enhancers aren't weapons. Get that out of the air, whoever's thinking that. It isn't. Second, Peridot doesn't have a weapon. Well, she doesn't know how to summon her weapon, I think. Because you gotta realize, if Peridot is just an upgraded Pearl, and Pearl does have her weapon, soon Peridot will have it too. And my whole idea for thinking this is that, so we see in the beginning of the answer, Pearl didn't have her spears. She had 2 swords. Just average sword for sword fighting. I'm guessing when the rebellion happened that Pearl didn't know how to summon a weapon. Because she wasn't meant for it. She was meant to be a servant. So over the years, Rose taught her how to summon her weapon. And Pearl got a hang of it and summoned her spear. And I feel like someday the same thing will happen to Peridot. You know who will teach her? Pearl. The Toontastic Toon asks, I have a theory. Rose was not Pink Diamond, but she was just a unique type of quartz that originally belonged to Pink Diamond. Alright, I've been getting a lot of messages and comments like this, and let me just get something out of the way. When I cover videos, it's because that video subject is really popular with others, fans, and you guys. And I just want to be able to create it take my part of it, take my information and knowledge and my take on it, and make it a video for you guys. Just because it's something I do or make doesn't mean I'm a believer of it. And yes, the Pink Diamond video I did make, I was a believer for the longest time, ever since I saw the Pink Diamond on Steven Universe. I've been a believer in this, but facts are facts, and it's coming to terms that she just might not be who I originally thought she was. With what you guys are saying is something I'm starting to believe in now. That I'm thinking that Pink Diamond got sick of what the diamonds were doing. And so she created a specific gem called Rose Quartz. And she knew that Rose Quartz would be nothing but like training for nothing but fighting and rebellion. And she wanted to create someone who could teach from an early age, so that's all they know and all they remember. That's why Rose was so keen on like loving everything that the earth had to take. And I feel like she was just bred for nothing but fighting. So that's why Rose Quartz was labeled the legendary warrior by Jasper. So I think Pink Diamond created Rose Quartz to start the rebellion, and then something happened to Pink Diamond, like she was either captured or killed by the other diamonds, of course. But I guess we'll see in the upcoming episodes. Etsu Ikeda, I hope I said that right, says Pearl belonged to White Diamond. It's time, finally, my take on the Pearl and White Diamond deal. Yes, I know the gems are in the same placements, and I know everything's where they are. And honestly, if Rose Quartz was just created by Pink Diamond to serve for the rebellion, she wouldn't have had her own pearl. So that pearl might have came from White Diamond, like you guys are saying. And that's my take on it as well. I really do believe she's from White Diamond's court. And being abandoned probably, Rose picked her up for the rebellion. And Pearl, she was upset. She didn't know what she did wrong. To White Diamond, of course. And Rose made her feel like she was everything, just how she stated. And that's pretty much it. That's how their whole story went. That White Diamond probably ditched her or something because she was useless, labeled useless. And Rose saw potential in her and trained her to fight with her. And that's how the whole ordeal went. Anna Kaiser asks, first, I hope I'm getting these names right. Recall back to the very first episode of the very first season. This was the episode Gem Glow, where Steven tries to summon his weapon. He consults the fellow gems, where they each give him different advice. Garnet spaces out, Pearl tells Steven to dance like a tree, and Amethyst just does it. She states, whenever I need my weapon, it just happens. Maybe this is because Amethyst was meant to be a warrior gem, while Pearl was only meant to be a servant. Maybe only warrior gems were supposed to have weapons, and a part of the rebellion was non-warrior gems summoning weapons to fight. Maybe that's why we haven't seen Peridot's weapon. She just doesn't know she has the capability to summon one. Just a theory. Winky face. Just talked about this a few minutes ago, so let's go over it again. First things first. When Pearl showed up in the answer, she didn't have her weapon. She just had her two swords. That's possibly because she didn't know how to summon her weapon yet, because she's a servant. But Rose did, and that's why she had a shield, because she's a warrior gem. So Rose taught her how she does it, how she just goes forward and it's there. And Pearl, after some trial and error, finally gets it. And this will be the same thing for Peridot. Peridot will soon ask Pearl, how do you summon your weapon? You're supposed to be a servant. You're like me. And Pearl will explain, anybody can summon their weapon, you just have to try. And Pearl trains Peridot to actually do this. And I can't wait for that episode. Victoria Murray asks, why would Pearl just betray Homeworld for one person? Sorry, but think about it. Does Pearl really care about the Earth? Or in the past, did she not care about it? Was she just following orders from Rose? Did she have to turn around and change her mind? Please do this theory. Well, like I talked about before, I feel like Pearl was abandoned, and she didn't have anywhere else to go. She tried doing the right thing, she tried doing everything she could, but in the end, she was just a Pearl. And White Diamond didn't find it respectable enough for her to be working under her, so she kind of kicked Pearl out. She kicked her to the street and said she wasn't good enough for her. That's why Pearl has this fixated rage against the diamonds. She just didn't understand why they kicked her out. She was like a puppy. If this owner just leaves a puppy, puppy's not going to understand what she did wrong. Neither did Pearl. So Rose came by and Rose said, "Why are you out here? You're Pearl." And Pearl will explain and she'll say, "Come with me." And Rose talked it over, shared everything Pearl had to say, and that's the first time Pearl ever had treatment like that. So Pearl, I wouldn't say fall in love, but Pearl grew attached to Rose a lot and wanted to do anything that Rose did as well. She already had this anger from the Diamonds from kicking her out and this love from Rose, and the two combined it. She wanted to do whatever she can to get back to the Diamonds and follow Rose Quartz's lead. Kelsey Chappell asks, "I think Rose is in Pink Diamond. I think she was under Pink Diamond, and when she tried to reason with her about leaving Earth, Pink Diamond refused. Rose then decided to challenge her and accidentally broke her Diamond's gem, killing her permanently. This is the first battle for the rebellion, and Rose had to flee. I don't know how Pearl came to be, but after she finds/saves Pearl, she meets Garnet, like in the answer. I personally don't believe that's how things went down, but everybody has their own perspective on things. And that's why we have theories. But how I see it is that Pink Diamond created Rose to start the rebellion because she was sick of all the other Diamond shit. Rose was walking along one day and saw Pearl. She was ditched by White Diamond. And just how I explained a few minutes ago. And she was ditched by White Diamond, and Rose talked to her, and Pearl liked her ideas. And Rose explained to Pearl exactly the plan. And Pink Diamond, right when the Diamonds caught on, Pink Diamond defended against the whole Diamonds and told Rose to get out of here. Rose and Pearl fled to Earth and started their rebellion and trained. Pink Diamond got eliminated by the other Diamonds. Rose got away, or Rose and Pearl got away, and then I say a few years after they trained, they began their attack in the answer. That's where Garnet came into play. And our last theory of the day, coming from Alexis Kirkland. Theory: what if after Steven fuses with Connie, would it be possible to form Alexandrite that is even more powerful than Diamonds? And what would happen if Bismuth was unbubbled? First things first, I do believe they'll be able to form Alexandrite, but only if they form Stevonnie first. Only because Connie's body can't be made into light, but Stevonnie's body can. So I don't believe it would be more stronger than the Diamonds though, because there's leaked videos of a certain fight. I'm not going to explain it because I don't want to do spoilers, but I'm sure you guys can find it if you tried. But it really shows the strength of everybody, and I don't believe Alexandrite would have the same strength equal to what the Diamonds have, even though we haven't really seen the Diamonds fight. But all we can assume is they're this powerhouse source. Bismuth was unbubbled? Well, first off, I don't believe it's Bismuth. That's just a name you guys gave it just because it didn't have a name. And I know just because it looks like it, that's the closest thing, and it really isn't the closest thing that we could think of. It was just the first thing everybody thought of because they looked up weird pyramid shape or weird maze shape. And what that shape is really called is a hopper. If you look up halite hopper crystals, it's pretty much a pink one of those. And don't say it's only pink because of the bubble, because we already know that the bubbles don't affect the color of what's inside of it. So, if you look up halite hopper crystals, the link of it will be right there. They look exactly like what's in the bubble, the design. And the link right there, so click it. Go check it out right now. It's fucking awesome. It's created by the Hopper effect. And so we realized we can do this with gems, mainly quartz, and you can also look up quartz hopper, and it creates the same type of effect. Well, since they figured out we could do that, the main test subject we tried it on was quartz like rose and amethyst. So, my theory about that is, it might be a amethyst hopper crystal, and I'm not 100% sure yet, but who knows at this point. All I know is it's not bismuth. That's a metal, it's an element. It has nothing to do with anything. It's not a living thing. Get that out of your head, it's an element. but I do believe it's either rose or a amethyst hopper crystal. And with that being said, what about the episodes released, Amethyst vs. Steven, or The Whip, or whatever those episodes are called? Maybe, just maybe, Steven released whatever was in there, and it formed and created an amethyst. A modified amethyst. A hopper amethyst. But that's just my theory, and if you guys want to hear more about it, it might be coming out either this week or this month sometime. So if you really are interested in bismuth, stay tuned. I'll also be including a little thing that I might be doing a theory on too, and you guys will probably know what it is when this video ends. So thank you for watching. Have a great time. Have a great fucking weekend. I think it's the weekend. It's Friday, right? Yeah, it's Friday when I'm making this. So have a great weekend, and thanks for everything, guys. I know it's been a while since I released a video, but like I said, this thing's busted, and I recently was sick too. The flu's been going around a lot where I live. I got an ear infection. It's just fucking terrible. But I'm here again, and I'm releasing videos, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Please, in the comments below, post anything you want me to go over, and I'll discuss it. Until next time, I'll catch you later, gems.
Some say I have no direction.